Welcome or welcome back. This is a pet reading that we're doing today, and I have done a pet reading previously on this channel, but today we're going to tune into pets who have passed on to the spirit realm. If you are listening to one of these readings and you think, this sounds like a living pet that I currently have, that's okay. It does not mean that you now have to worry about your pet moving on at all. I'm putting the focus on passed on pets with the understanding that energies may also come from living pets, and that's okay. But if that is the case for you, just understand that some of these messages will not be for you because, again, we're focusing on pets that have already passed on. Cats and dogs typically come through the most, being more common pets. But if you had another pet that you loved, you can still find messages here. And with all of that said, let's get into your group selection. For group 1, we have this aragonite stalactite and this card that says the moth and eucalyptus, an ending. For group 2, we have this bubbly botryoidal hematite and this card that says the chipmunk and laurel, success. For group 3, we have this light green prehnite and this card that says the skunk and magnolia, protection. Okay, take all the time you need to choose. If you have multiple passed on pets and you are drawn to multiple groups today, you can watch as many as you'd like. I am going to get started, so meet me in your reading when you're ready. Hi, group 1, you chose this aragonite stalactite and this moth and eucalyptus card. Welcome to your reading. We're tuning into a passed on pet for you today and getting messages from their soul. I want to start with an energy check to make sure you're in the right reading. And if not, you can of course choose another group, but I have pulled your cards today. It was easier for me to do that ahead of time. So the next thing you will see is them all laid out. Okay, group 1. So let's start with an energy check. We are going to start with that, but I do want to say a little bit about this card that you chose, an ending, because, we are talking, of course, about a passed on pet. And so there has been an ending for you and this pet. But because this card came out when I pulled a card for this group, it does make me think that there may be quite a lot of people in this group who this passing was quite recent. This doesn't mean it's not your group if it wasn't recent, but there's a lot of recent energy with this card and with this group, and it being still something you're thinking a lot about, or you're missing your pet a lot, or it's heavy on your mind. But also, it may not just be about this. It could also be talking about something going on in your life. You may be dealing with loss or grief or endings right now. And if that's the case, this may be another confirmation that this is your group and that also your pet spirit is coming in to acknowledge this. Because of course they can see a lot on the other side, but because they would have been close to you, they would have been close to your emotions while alive as well. But there's this, the way this like wreath and the eucalyptus is, it's making me think full circle. And that something is sort of coming full circle. And yeah, that can be life and death, but that could be something else for someone else out there. And I don't want to talk too much about that because I want to get into the main messages. So when we look at the personality or the energy of your pet and the bond between you and your pet, and again, if this is not accurate for you, you can go to another group, but we have the 10 of Earth or the 10 of Pentacles and the Sea Tom, which is the Knight of Cups. And so we have this really sweet, positive energy. So, okay, one thing with this 10 of Pentacles is that certainly for some of you, this animal, whether it was a cat, a dog, or someone else, felt family with you, but not just with you, because otherwise I think we would get like the 2 of Cups or something. And I don't think that we have that here. But look at all of these cats in this picture. So it's leading me to believe that you either have more pets, or this pet knew other pets, or there are multiple people in the family. multiple people that miss this pet that has moved on, or multiple animals that do. I think more than likely this pet had other people or pets in the home, or constantly visiting the home, or maybe they went to a place that had other animals or people frequently. But there's a feeling of camaraderie and comfort and knowing a lot of different types of energies. And so it doesn't feel like an isolated situation. It doesn't feel like it was just you and them. Maybe it was sometimes, but there's a really social aspect to this animal. And, and with this orange cat too, and I'm not saying that your pet is a cat, but orange cats can sometimes be very social, and they can also be very cuddly and affectionate. So I wouldn't be surprised if this pet was very cuddly or affectionate, or would like pop out whenever you got home and wanted to say hi and wanted to play. And I think too, while this pet does have an energy, like being energetic, it does feel pretty relaxed. So, of course we have cat cards here, but it does seem very cat-like. If it was a dog or another pet, maybe playful at times, but a lot of like wanting to snuggle, wanting to hang out, wanting to be around people, very social, but not necessarily like always 100% of the time playful, just kind of wanting to be included and enjoying time around other people. And I think that the bond between you was really close and comforting. Again, I definitely think that this pet was affectionate. If you have a pet that, like normally maybe we don't think of snakes as affectionate, or, lizards. But if you had an animal like this, it was maybe liked to be touched more often. I just don't know a lot about those pets, but even if they didn't like to be affectionate, but I do think that's the case, even if they didn't, they wanted to be around you and would come join you in whatever room you were in, or if you were working from home, they would like bother you at the door to be let in. And I think, it's not just like an animal that appears because they're hungry and they want to be fed. This is like, oh, you're here, you're home, I want to hang out. You're watching TV, I want to hang out. Like, it's that kind of thing. And this does feel like an easygoing animal, not a big troublemaker, doesn't need to like cause constant waves. Every pet causes a little trouble sometimes, I feel like, but it's like they kind of wanted to get along and go along and be, they were pretty easy energy, especially if you had other pets or other people. They played well with others. And even if they definitely wanted special time with you or others, they enjoyed family time. And again, they are in harmony with other pets or other people. But I think that also this pet was very lovey-dovey with you, would give you those sweet loving eyes, or like rub against your leg, or always want to be near you, or always want to be touching you. I think that even if there are other pets and other animals in the house, or that there were, you did seem to have a special bond between you and this animal, because they're coming through, in this community card, but then also here by themselves, just giving you this sweet look. And with the Knight of Cups, it can be such a romantic card, but when it comes through with pets, it always feels very like sweet and lovey-dovey. Obviously not romantic, but it's very like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. So this pet definitely was just so in love with knowing you and being around you, and you definitely had a special and sacred bond where just the two of you spent time together, whether or not there were others involved. So then I want to look at, how is your pet now that they have passed on, and what do they want to say about that? We have this really wonderful positive energy with the Ace of Fire, or the Ace of Wands, and the Call, which is Judgment. So what this is saying to me is that they want to assure you that not only are they just fine, but this is their purpose now. They may incarnate again as another pet or in another body. They may choose to come back, but this is what they're meant to be doing right now, is being on the other side. And it's not that they are just in the ether as like air. They have purpose over there. And we have that with both of these cards as a sense of purpose. But another thing I want to say before I get to that is with this judgment card with the call, it feels like this dog in this picture is being like called up to the light. And these other dogs are like, okay, it's what card is saying to me and what this energy is saying to me is that this pet of yours was ready to go. It was time to go. So if you have had any question about that, like if you made the decision or if something happened to them, like an accident, anything where you've been sort of unsure if you made the right call or if it was their time to go or they could have had a lot more life or maybe you should have gotten them a different medication, we can go on and on. They're basically telling you, no, you do not need to worry about that. It was literally my time to go and I chose to go. And so, that is a really strong message that they want to say. But beyond that, with these cards, on the other side, now that they're over there in the spiritual realm, they are continuing to heed a call, basically. They have a purpose over there. And so it's interesting that this is coming through because from what I understand, we as human beings have purposes, you could say jobs or something that we do on the other side in between incarnations, or our higher self does these things. Like we help other souls or we learn things. And this seems to be coming through as true for pets as well. Maybe all of them, maybe not. I can't tell. But your pet certainly seems to feel a sense of purpose on the other side. And so one thing is that they could help other pets and probably animals that are the same as them. So if this is a dog, dogs. If this is a cat, cats. If this is a bird, birds. So basically whatever type of animal they were in this life with you, on the other side, they help this type of animal crossover is how it seems. Like it's almost like they join like the angels and the spirit team and they help like call animals into the light, or they may also, what I'm seeing is that they, their soul or their spirit kind of like comes down and sits next to an animal who is passing and that they offer comfort. And I think, this is my personal belief, but I think that, animals are a lot more in tune with the spiritual realm often than we are, and that they are not scared of death or anything like that. I think that they know what's going on. And, but it does seem like your pet on the other side, it has a special mission around that of like helping the crossover happen and, helping pets to know when it's their time and helping to sort of ease a pet's burden in their last stages of life. I hope that makes sense. And they get a lot of like vital purpose and energy from this. And of course it's different than when you are in a physical body. But basically what they're wanting to tell you is that on the other side, in the spiritual realm, they are, fulfilling a purpose, doing something that they enjoy that helps other spirits and other beings and other animals, and that this is really joyful for them. And this energy is coming through is so vital and in a way so physical. And so again, that's why I think that they help like a physical form, an animal in a physical form, leave that form and move into light energy. But also they're saying like they didn't just die and cease to exist. They aren't just, you could think that they are a ghost and you see visions of them, you feel them around you, but they are not like a ghost that is just haunting this earth. They've moved into the spiritual realm. If you see them, it's because they're visiting you. And they just want you to know that not only are they fine, not only was it time, but they are very fulfilled on the other side and they are really enjoying what they're doing. And it doesn't take away from their love for you or anyone else they knew in this life, because the love is coming through very big, very strong, very light. But I think if you've just been wondering, like, are they okay? Or maybe you haven't heard from them, they're doing all kinds of stuff over there, like really. So I want to talk about what they are grateful for, when it comes to you and the life that they had with you. And for you, we have the Three of Sea, or the Three of Cups, and we have the Seer, otherwise known as the Hanged Man. So there's a couple of things. So with the Three of Cups, they're very grateful for the joyful moments. So I think you did play with this animal a lot. Even if they weren't playful all the time, you definitely had moments where you were like chasing each other, or you had games that you would play with this specific animal. Like you had a certain relationship where you guys, like had a particular way of playing that they didn't have with everybody, and that you haven't necessarily had with other pets. It's very individual, but they also got to explore their curiosities a lot and very happy emotions. And it feels like, this animal had a really happy life through and through. So it is possible this was a rescue where they had a harder life before, but I don't think that's very common in this group, because the energy feels very happy and light and playful. And like, I think even toward the end, you saw like the puppy or the kitten or the baby version of them come out when they were playing or being silly with you. And I think there was like, it's so funny, because it's like it's almost like two best friends like having inside jokes, and like they've formed these jokes over years and they wouldn't make sense to anybody else at this point, and they don't even remember how it started. It's like that with you and this pet, but obviously it's not like you spoke to one another. You might have spoken to them, they may have spoken to you in their way, but it's like you had sort of like inside jokes in a way, or like a way of playing that is just really sweet and individual and funny. But also, there's so much happiness here. They're happy for they're grateful for all of the happiness and the happy memories you allotted them. You didn't just take care of them. Like there may have even been, if you come from a bigger family and there were other people that like took care of the pets by like feeding them and stuff, and you mostly played with them, it could be something like that. But basically, like, no matter who took care of them, if you did or not, they played with you and they enjoyed their time together and your relationship. And it feels like they are just grateful for how celebratory their life could be at times. Whether or not you see it that way, they celebrate this life, and it makes me feel like I'm going to cry. They really, really, when they look at this life and they look at their relationships from this life, and they spend time with your energy still while on the other side, they celebrate you, they celebrate their life, they celebrate who they were, they celebrate the good times. They have a lot of good memories that are very present with them. And I think that it feels emotional because they felt very emotionally fulfilled by their life with you and with anyone else that they had. It was comforting. It was reassuring. It was fun. It was loving. They feel such a huge amount of love for you and love from you. And they were able to live such a carefree, happy existence. And it's really a comfort to them. And that actually, I'm getting a little bit of that too with this card. It's like, even though they are on the other side now, they still think about these things. Like, they still call up those happy memories and like metaphorically smile. They hope that you're thinking of the good times. And, I think some of your sadness is coming through too, because whether this did happen recently or a long time ago, there was certainly a lot of grief, of course, losing a loved one in this way, in whatever way it was. But, there was just so much like love between you that it is making me emotional. They are also grateful for, so sometimes with the Hanged Man, we see like a change in perspective, and it's coming through as sort of like you opened their mind to things and showed them things in life that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And we could say that no matter what, like they could have been with another family and experienced a different life. But because they were with you, they experienced certain things, they learned certain things. This seems to be a very intelligent animal. And they're very grateful for the knowledge that they gained. And also, I think that you were very peaceful with them at times. So there may have been times where you were meditating or just quietly reading a book or something like that, and they just like kind of snuggled up to you and enjoyed your peaceful, quiet energy. Or even if you were looking at your phone, just when you were in moments of peace and quiet, it was really helpful for them and peaceful for them. But also it feels like they didn't get in trouble a lot. And maybe because they weren't like bad, quote unquote. But even if they did things, like someone else may have yelled at them, but it feels like you didn't yell at them or like spank them or like get out of control. That's kind of what it feels like. Or there maybe were moments that you could have, but you held yourself back or something. So basically they're grateful for the moments of peace or the moments of like allowing them to maintain a sense of emotional peace. And again, with this Three of Cups, it's possible that this pet had other animals around them, other animal friends, other animal family members, and they're very grateful for the positive relationships that they had. So that's coming through as well. Okay, so with these cards, with the Star and the Ten of Wands here, I want to talk about how they might still connect with you, show up for you, any signs that you might see. That would mean that they are coming through. And so, you know, if we look at signs first, we've got lots of feathers falling off here. So if you've been seeing feathers, or there's randomly a feather on your doorstep, or even if it's not real feathers, if you keep seeing feather prints or something, this could be a sign coming through from them that they're around. Stars could also be a sign, or the names of constellations, or when you see a certain constellation. For some of you, your pet could have had a name that was a constellation or a star or something celestial or astrological. But these would be signs that you might see when they're coming through. And also, we have this sun here, and you could say that it's beating down in this Ten of Wands, but actually, okay, so beyond signs, what I want to say, what's coming through is that one way that they show up for you and connect with you, whether or not you realize they are there, is when you are carrying the heavy burdens of life. So when you are feeling especially exhausted, especially stressed out, maybe you are having work troubles, relationship troubles, or you don't know what direction to go and it feels overwhelming and you have too many things on your plate. Any or all of these things, they are basically this bright, shining sun letting you know that it's okay. So what I'm seeing is that when you are dealing with these hard things and this stress, they are coming to be close to you, or they're shining their light down from above in a way, and they are trying to be present with you to take a little bit of that feeling off your back. So basically they're sending you love, and it's coming through in a few different ways. Like with some of you, your pet is like standing next to you even when you can't see them, and they're walking along with you to let you know you're not alone. So some pets can come in a little bit more clearly. Some have a harder time kind of physically manifesting or bringing themselves down to this energy. And so they just see and feel what you're going through from the other side, essentially, and they are sending you love. This is a pet who loves you dearly, does not want to see you struggle or be stressed, and also, especially because they are now on the other side, there is just this overwhelming feeling of like understanding everything and knowing all, and just having this deep and clear unconditional love for you, and wanting you to, you know, survive this life, but not only survive, enjoy this life and thrive in it and be happy. And they don't want you to ever feel alone with your troubles. And they understand in a way that they maybe couldn't have as a physical animal, that life is fleeting and there's a lot of specialness to be had in life, and they want you to have that. And so I think there's this like desire for them to swoop down and save you. And I think that in a lot of ways they try to do that, but it may come through kind of subtly, or you may feel like you just saw them out of the corner of your eye, or you have a dream about them that night and they come up to you and their tail is wagging, or they're purring, or they're happy to see you in whatever way that shows up for them as an animal. But they want you to know that everything's going to be okay, and that they love you, and all they want is for you to feel loved. And really, they just love you dearly. It's incredibly big and light and unconditional. So finally, I want to see what else they may want you to know. And I pulled these cards. We have You Are Enough And we have Panda, balance, ask how to bring balance to the situation and into your heart. So again, for some of you, this loss is more recent. And so there is some energy here of wanting to comfort and reassure you and let you know that everything's going to be okay, that they are perfectly fine, you haven't done anything wrong, and that you will feel better soon if you have been grieving. Another thing is that, so pandas are my favorite animal. And so it's making me think also that your favorite animal may be showing up as a sign as well. So this could be another sign, or pandas or bamboo. So if any of that is ringing a bell that you've been seeing a lot lately, or you start seeing a lot, it may be because this pet is trying to come in. And I think that some of you have been struggling in ways that have nothing to do with this pet or this animal. I think that it's possible you have been feeling unworthy, or you've been feeling not good enough in certain ways, and you've been feeling maybe exhausted and drained and unbalanced and tired and all of these things. For some of you, it's coming through as relationship stuff. Like if you have been going through a difficult relationship or a difficult breakup, or people are making you feel bad about yourself. And for some of you, it's coming through as like a work situation or a school situation. Whether or not people are making you feel that way, you're sort of feeling that way. But basically, this pet is coming through to say exactly this. You are enough. You are more than enough. And they're coming through again as like a star or a sun. And then we have this hand holding part of it. And so again, they're trying to come physically down to earth into the physical material plane to connect with you. So I do think some of you are definitely like seeing this pet like walk by, or hearing the sounds that they would make as they walked around, or they asked for food or whatever. But they are trying to connect to you because, you know, just like everyone on the other side who loves us, all they want is for us to be okay and to see things as they really are in a positive light. And so this pet of yours just deeply loves you, cares about you, and wants you to feel safe and loved. And they just want you to know that they are nearby, that you can call on them. If you haven't seen or felt them yet, they are trying their best to come through, and they may come through dreams. Again, I'm seeing stars. So stars must mean something for somebody. And I think even it could be a sign for someone where it's not like the literal night sky stars, but it's like someone hands you like a star pin, and like someone gives you a pen and it has a star on it. That kind of thing is going to be coming through for some people. But I think also this pet brought such a light, joy and sparkle to your life and anyone else's that this pet touched. This is a really sweet, loving energy who had a good life and who is continuing to have a good life in another form. You will see them again. That is what I'm hearing. Don't worry. And that's making me think again about this call card. One day, hopefully far from now, you will pass on too. And guess what? They're going to be right there waiting for you. And there may be an array of pets waiting for you, whoever you had in your life, but you do seem to have a special bond with this animal. And they will never let you be alone. If you are feeling alone, they are there, and I hope that you can feel them, and they hope so too. That's all I have for you today, Group 1. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please let me know by leaving a comment or liking the video. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Hi, Group 2. You chose this bubble hematite and this chipmunk and laurel card. Welcome to your reading. We're tuning into a passed on pet today and getting messages from their spirit, their soul. I do want to start with an energy check to make sure you're in the right reading. And if not, you can, of course, choose another group. I have pulled all of your cards because it was easier for me to do that. So I am going to get them spread out, and that's the next thing that you will see. Okay, Group 2. So we've got your cards already here. I'm going to get into it. As I was spreading out the cards, your pet has such a like spirit guide energy, very advanced soul energy, and it almost feels human in some ways. So I wanted to say that in case that clicks with anyone right off the bat. I do want to get into your energy check here to make sure that this is your group. But I do want to touch on this original card just slightly as another possible confirmation for people here. You do not have to relate to what I'm about to say in order for this to be your reading, but you should know within these cards here if it is. But because we have this chipmunk and laurel card that says success, there could be a message here for some of you that you have been really working on success in some area of your life. You've been putting a lot of energy into it. You've been very motivated and inspired lately, or you've been putting a lot of yourself into it and other people see you as very motivating and inspiring, and that you may have been moving very quickly, or you're hoping to speed things up very soon. And I think that for some of you, you really want success in some area of your life. I do think it is in career for a lot of you, and then it might be self-employment, but it seems like this is something that you want to move toward. And then we have the number 7 here too, which makes me think of the Chariot card and moving forward really quickly and moving toward a goal. So if you're relating to that, I know it's a little bit general, but that could be another confirmation. So let's get into your tarot card. So we have the 6 of Swords here, as well as the Priest or the Hierophant, as far as an energy check. So this is going to talk a little bit about, sorry, I'm laughing a little bit because the energy is already kind of, well, I'll get into it. It's funny. But this is going to talk a little bit about the personality or the energy of your pet to ensure that you're in the right reading, and a little bit about the bond between you and your pet. So I'm getting a little bit of sassy energy. So your pet could have been a little sassy in kind of a way that made you laugh, or the way that they would sort of saunter around the house. You were like, why do they walk like that? Like, stop. It's that kind of energy. It kind of feels like they think they know better than others. And you know, I do think a lot of people here have a cat. This absolutely could be any other animal, but and I know I'm looking at cats right here in these pictures, but there's a lot of cat energy here with how their personality is coming forward. But no matter the animal, this is a very intelligent animal, very independent. I think that, you know, with this 6 of Sky, if you had other pets in the house or other people and there was ever any chaos or fighting or turmoil, this pet was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go spend some time alone and doing whatever I want. Like, it wasn't necessarily like, it's not a peacemaker energy. It's not necessarily a balance, like an energy of wanting to please everyone or harmonize. It's like, no, I have boundaries. Okay. Don't even question them. It's that there's a lot of boundaries with this pet, and just kind of feeling like, okay, so here's some more spiritual energy coming through with the Priest, is this feeling of being, spiritually wise, which I know so I'm laughing because it is coming across as a little, like, slightly entitled, I guess. We're like, I know better. I know more than all of you. And so, but it's not entitled. I don't know what the word is for it, but it's like, yes, there is a spiritual wisdom with this pet, especially now that they are back to like living as their soul without living a life as a pet. But even as a pet, they felt like they knew better than other animals, maybe even better than other people, maybe even better than you. And you would maybe be taken aback sometimes at how it seemed like they would act that way. Like, there's a rebelliousness here. And it's not that they caused trouble. It's not that they got themselves into reckless situations. It's that, they're not willing to play by other people's rules. So, you know, with the Hierophant, sometimes this is about traditions and rules and things like that, but there's no one else here. Normally there's other figures here. This animal has decided on their own rules, whether they came into this life with those rules already or developed them as they got older, but they live by their rules, and they don't even expect other people to. They see other people or other animals as sort of like chaotic or stupid. like it's almost like they would roll their eyes at the way that other people or other animals would do things. If it was just you two in the home, you may have felt that they were doing that toward you, or maybe even when you would watch TV or something, it was like they were watching it and having thoughts about it. It's like they were noticing. This was a very observant pet, but also very independent and probably liked a lot of alone time or just time with you. But it's almost like you could see them thinking and you're like, what are you thinking about? Like what's going on in there? But, of course, there's still like an innocent pet, like playful energy here too. But, and when we look at this priest again, it feels like they may have had like a favorite toy and they maybe were very careful with it. And like, even if they shredded another toy, they would protect this one. Like they had a toy that they would carry around for longer, or a certain kind of toy that they always preferred. They may have, I don't know if you put clothes on them or like a fancy collar or like a handkerchief or little shoes or something. But it feels like for some of you, this pet was decorated. And if so, they liked that. It felt more true to them and more true to their personality. And they liked standing out in that way. They seem to be like imaginative, which again feels kind of weird to say for a pet. But I do feel like this is maybe a more advanced soul than you maybe typically see in pets. And not that like pets who aren't yet this advanced are stupid. I think this pet thinks they are, but that's not the case. It's just that this pet has maybe had more lifetimes and more like an older soul kind of. And like also if you did give this pet special gifts or special treatment or something, they really liked that. So hopefully you know whether or not this is your pet. So let's get into these cards right here and look at how are they now that they've passed on and what do they want to say about that. So we have this 8 of Earth, the 8 of Pentacles, and we have this is so interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. Do we have any more? Hold on. Let me see. Okay, so I used 3 different tarot decks. And so I used, I'll put them into the description box, but I used a cat deck, a dog deck, and an owl deck. I didn't realize as I was laying these cards out, we have a couple cards that are the same. No other ones, but we have the 6 of Sky or the 6 of Swords in both of these decks. And I also think it's so funny that they're both called the 6 of Sky because you don't normally see that. So one thing that could be the case with having both of these cards here is that in life and in like soul form, afterlife or between lives, they are very similar. So the way that they showed up because, okay, let's say if we incarnate and we have many lives, we have past lives, all of that stuff, you could expect that we're probably pretty different. Like in one, you're this race, and another, you're this race, you're this gender this time, you have these problems. So, and you're raised by different people with different genetics. We're not going to be the same person every time, but our soul is the same, right? And so maybe there's a similarity. But basically I'm saying that because this pet of yours came through in life, in this life that you knew them, very similar to how their soul is. They may have been a little bit more sassy or whatever you want to say it in life, but there's a very common thread that runs through for them. And I think that's part of the reason that they had a lot of impatience with like other people or pets' energies and behaviors, because they were like, come on, guys, like we can do better than this because they've done this so many times. So we have these 2 cards for how are they now on the other side and what they want to say about that. And this is really interesting to me because we have a really similar energy here as we did in the first group. So it's coming through as this pet on the other side has a job, not something they get paid for because money doesn't exist over there, but it's like a purpose, something to do that's fulfilling and that helps other souls. And they do help other souls. So there's a couple things here with them on the other side. They're keeping busy, no doubt. They're not just lounging. They are learning things. They may be teaching other souls things that they have learned, and they are helping other souls. So there's a couple things here coming through with the 6 of Swords. One thing is that they are very here for animals that were hurt in their physical form. So animals that were abused, or they had a painful passing, or anything where they experienced physical pain or emotional pain, or they were not treated well, or they had circumstances that were difficult. And I think part of the reason your pet has a passion, and I know this kind of sounds weird coming from an animal spirit, but they have a passion for helping pets who've gone through these things, is because your pet has had many, many, many lives. This is, again, an old soul coming through, and so they understand painful lives. And so as much as we want animals and pets to only have beautiful, comfy, cozy lives, if they're trying to grow as a soul and have new experiences, just as we likely are, sometimes we may choose difficult circumstances in order to learn certain things. And so I think that that might be the case with some animals as well. And so your pet is there on the other side, helping sort of nurse the wounds of animals that had a hard life. Because when they come into the other side, when an animal that had a hard life passes and they come like into the light and into spirit, one of the things is like, yes, they have released the burden of their body and their life, but some of that energy can kind of stick around. And so one of the things your pet is doing on the other side is helping heal those animals. So helping to release them from the energy and help them to get relief, and help them to feel like whole and complete and ready to live another life again if they so choose. But another thing is that if this pet, I don't think this is going to be for everyone, it's very specific, but if your pet did have a hard passing, if they were in physical pain, if they had a traumatic event in their life, if they had an illness at the end, or anything like that where they were wounded in some way, what they are saying now is that they are just fine, that they are fine. Nothing really hurt them. Nothing was permanent, and everything is totally okay. But also, if that was the case, again, it helps them have understanding for other pets that go through the same thing. And it's really wonderful energy. And so I think too, I think there is more reassuring energy coming by looking at these cards, but basically they're like, yeah, of course I'm okay. Why would you think anything different? They're not being very don't worry, I'm fine, I love you. They're like, yeah, of course I'm fine. Of course I love you. It's like, duh. And that's like the energy that's coming through with this pet is like, yeah, okay, I'm still living. It's just, you can't see me, but I'm doing stuff. Obviously I'm doing stuff. But it's not mean energy. It's just kind of yeah, of course. Which is really kind of funny, but it's they do have quote unquote work on the other side. And it's so interesting that this energy has come through both of these readings, because while I have done pet readings many times, I have not read for passed on pets just yet. So these are my first ones I've ever done. And I'm a little bit surprised, honestly, to find out that pets can have such a big, I don't know, I guess they just thought they just enjoy themselves and maybe they come back if they want to live another life. And I think there is enjoyment, but there's actual purpose here. So let's move down here to the second row. Let's talk about what this pet was grateful for when it comes to you. And okay, here's the much sweeter, more open, light, bright energy. Not that it was heavy. It wasn't, but like I said, kind of in their own head and sassy and an individual and having good boundaries and all of that stuff. But when we talk about what they're grateful for, this is where their love really comes through and their gratitude and the lightness. So we have the Ace of Earth or the Ace of Pentacles, and we have Temperance. So I do think for some people in this group, this was possibly a rescue who did experience some pain before they knew you, and you offered them a respite and healing and joy and physical comfort. Whether or not they were traumatized before they came to you, you offered them physical comfort, material well-being, everything they could want and need, play and groundedness and health and sleep. You definitely gave them all the nutrition and food and things they needed. Even if you think that you didn't do as well as you could, they're basically saying you did. If you gave them supplements, or if you gave them a food they wanted or treats they wanted or a medication you thought would be helpful for them, whatever you did for them, they're grateful for it. And whatever you feel like you didn't do for them, they don't care. Basically, they are grateful for everything you did do. And if you feel like you were lacking in some way, that's not how they see it at all. And I just think that for some of you, that is coming through, but they're very, very grateful for the bounty and the abundance and the prosperity that you afforded them. And like when I say prosperity, it's not that you gave them like an allowance. Like obviously you didn't give your pet money to go spend at the store probably, but there's a feeling of prosperity, of being rich because of their life. And it feels like they got, it's very grounded. And I think that it feels like they got enough attention, but it's like they didn't need that much attention. Like their needs were relatively small. And so there's this big feeling of abundance because you took care of more than their needs. And I think that they just felt very, very safe and very protected. And, I wouldn't be surprised if some people here are making a good amount of money because it feels like they're in really, really comfortable surroundings. But even if they're not in a mansion on the water, they felt like their surroundings were comfortable. I wonder if they had like their own private space to go, or maybe like if there were other pets, they got to hang out in your room with you without the other pets or something. Like it feels like they did get to have some of their alone time, and they felt very respected by you. And so they're very grateful for you seeing them as the individual that they are, and you taking care of them as a physical being who you loved. And there's a good amount of love energy coming through, but the way that it's coming through is in the sense of feeling incredibly safe, protected, cared for, and knowing that everything was always going to be fine. They never worried. It doesn't feel like this was an anxious animal in the least. I mean, like, I think they definitely got annoyed, but they weren't anxious. They felt very safe, and their life felt very colorful and grounding and nurturing, and they felt nourished in their life. And again, because this animal seems to have had a lot of lives, this was an especially grounding and positive one. And so it's such a huge comfort for them. And I feel that they bonded a lot with you in this life, and they are very grateful for you, and that they feel a deep sense of love and connection. I wonder if you had a nice garden or a nice yard or a nice view from your window or something, because there is a lot of kind of greenery and beautiful nature energy coming through. Okay, when we look at how your pet may still connect with you, I want to look and see if there are any signs that they may use to let you know that they're there, or how they still walk with you, or how they connect with you now that they're on the other side. So we have this Knight of Wands and this Eight of Cups, and these seem like very different cards. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, yes. So I think that they really try to have an influence over you, and not that they're trying to like tell you what to do, but they are very present for you. Again, it's coming through a spirit guide energy where they try to nudge you in the right direction. And so they try to influence your actions because they can see a lot from the other side, and because they know you so well. And so they may know what's best for you or where you need to go. And so they'll try to steer you in that direction. So what I am sensing is that so I definitely think sometimes you think you see them or you hear them. But it's like, okay, for some of you, it's like maybe you dated someone that your pet didn't like and they made it obvious. And then now that they're on the other side, when you are dating a new person, they also try to make it obvious what they think. So if they always like chewed up this person's shoe at night, like you may like wake up and this person's shoe is missing or something, and you're like, okay, I guess like my pet doesn't like this person. Or it's like the opposite. I know I'm not explaining that the best, but hopefully you're understanding. So they definitely are trying to kind of influence the direction that you go. Not only moving toward things that they feel are right for you and will make you happy, but away from things that are no longer right for you. So they also come through in your like emotional sense. So basically, if you suddenly out of nowhere feel sad when you're thinking about something, or you feel angry or something, and it's like, well, where did this come from? This is your pet influencing that energy so that you know whether or not something is good for you. Basically, they're trying to come through your intuitive gut senses. And as I say that, I look down and see intuition. So we'll get to more of this, but they're definitely trying to come through intuitively. And I wonder also if you are an intuitive person, or if you have been becoming more intuitive and noticing more gut feelings, but they're very protective over you. But also this pet seems to understand that not only did they like being independent, but they respect other people's independence, other people's choices, other people's paths in life. And they understand that we learn no matter what. We learn in the bad, we learn in the good, we have the experiences we came here to experience, but they don't want you to suffer needlessly. And so when the time has come to move on from something, or the time has come to move towards something, they're going to come in here and try to, again, influence your thoughts or your feelings. So it's so funny because they have like slightly bossy energy, but it's not even that. It's like they do think they know what's best for everyone and everything, but they'll also let people and animals have the freedom to live as they choose, but they want you to enjoy your life. And basically that's how they come through. But when we talk about signs that may be showing up, of course we have owls in these cards, but it could be owls. It could be, we have this little stick with the little leaves. So I don't know, sticks could be a sign. A lizard could certainly be a sign. The color red. But I don't think this pet comes through signs a lot for most of you. I think that they come through feeling, and this isn't the most sentimental pet in the world. I'm going to say it. Like, they love you dearly, deeply. They're grateful for you. They spend a lot of time around your energy still. I think that they will for your entire life, and they will certainly be there when you reach the other side one day. But they're not going anywhere, but they also aren't like just saying like, I love you, I love you, I love you, which I get with pets a lot. Like, a lot of times pets are just filled with love. This is love, but it's a little more complex feeling, almost like a human being. And so the way that they are showing their love to you is sort of parental, which is so funny. So finally, let's see what else they may want you to know. And we have this limiting beliefs card, as well as the starfish, intuition, listen to your soul's truth, think less, feel more. Okay, well, first things first, they want you to tune more into your intuition. Whether or not you are intuitive, they want you spending more time making intuitive choices, following intuitive impulses, and they actually are encouraging impulsiveness with you. So I don't know if you are impulsive or not. It kind of feels like for most of you, you're not a very impulsive person, and they actually want you to be more impulsive, but not just making choices out of nowhere, like boom, 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 boom. It's like, okay, I have a gut feeling, I need to do it now. They want you to like do things a little bit more quickly. And that's bringing me back again to this chipmunk energy from the beginning. If you have been trying to move toward a goal, whether that's work or something else, they want you to move more quickly. And the chipmunk moves so quickly, and yet this one doesn't look very quick. So I feel like they're trying to speed things up for you and trying to encourage you to move toward things. And again, they really want you to trust your intuition about things that are no longer right for you. Relationships, jobs, situations, friendships, that kind of thing. They want you to fly away and then move toward things that excite you more and give you more energy, because it also feels like there's some drain on your energy, whether that's a job or a person or something else. And whether or not you realize it's been a drain on your energy, they're trying to get you to realize what's pulling on you and having you not feel bad about walking away, because there may be some guilt here with, leaving someone behind, or worry that if you leave something behind, it's going to be bad for you or something. They're trying to get you to follow these intuitive hunches that something's no longer right for you, and then it is a drain on you, even if it's not that bad, because they want you to move toward things that give you more energy and feel more fulfilling and exciting for you, and people that do as well. And yeah, I'm getting change energy with the 5 points on the starfish. And then we have limiting beliefs. So Yeah, they're trying to get you to change in some way. This is so interesting because usually I feel like when I do pet readings, they're just like full of love. That's all they really want to talk about. But this pet is like, no, let's get you moving. Okay. Like, stop worrying about like me and stuff like that. Like, I want you to fulfill your life's purpose, and then we can talk when you get to the other side. It's like that kind of thing. It's such interesting energy. But I think that they think, whether or not this is true, that you have been living in accordance to limiting beliefs, which probably most of us are, right? At least in some area of our life, because, we grow up being given limiting beliefs and then we believe them. So what they are trying to do here is tell you to question some of your beliefs. So there's this feeling of going inside and going deeper. So something that hasn't been working out for you in your life, something that you haven't been successful in, something that has been the bane of your existence, something that feels stressful. They want you to go deeper with that internally and quiet and look within and see if there is something there that you believe that is false, because they want you to kind of root it out and get more clarity and move forward. This pet is really encouraging you to accomplish things. I don't know exactly what that is going to be for you. It's going to be a little bit different for everyone. But the way that they kind of are coming through with their love and their protection of you is to try to kind of flip a switch in your belief system, in your mind, in your thoughts, and help you to move forward more clearly, because it feels like they know something has limited you or kept you down, and they don't live by that energy, and so they don't want you to either. Okay, that's all I have for you today, Group 2. I really hope this was helpful, and if it was, please let me know by leaving a comment or liking the video. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll see you again soon. Bye. Hi, Group 3. You chose this light green pre-night and this card that says the skunk and magnolia. Welcome to your reading. We're tuning into a passed on pet today and getting messages from their spirit. I want to start with an energy check to make sure you're in the correct reading. If you are not, you can, of course, choose another group. So I've already pulled all your cards to make it easier for me today. So the next thing you will see is them all laid out, and we'll get into the reading together. Okay, Group 3, let's get into it. I do want to say a quick message with this original card, and then we'll do your actual energy check. So this might just be confirmation for someone. If it doesn't relate, let me at least do the energy check before you decide if it's your group or not. So with this skunk and magnolia protection card, and we have the number 21, which is the number of the world. For some of you, this pet may have been your whole world in some ways, and it may have felt like the world ended when they passed on. This may have been a very protective animal over you, or you may have been very protective over them, and you feel in some way that you've lost your protection. This could be very literal, like maybe you had a big dog that was loud and helped you to feel safe, or it just felt like you were safer with this animal around. It could be that it was just the two of you. That doesn't have to be the case, but there definitely is some grief and sad energy. So I wonder if this was recent for some of you, or if it has just still been hard. But this feels like definitely a best friend pet for you and someone you loved dearly. And you may also call on them for protection and call on their spirit for protection, or you may call on angels for protection quite frequently. So let's get into your energy check. We have this 8 of Sky, which is the 8 of Swords. And if I can pick it up, I can't. And we have the 6 of Earth, which is the 6 of Pentacles here. So here is where we'll kind of look at this pet's personality or energy and the bond between you, to make sure that this is the pet on your mind. So some really silly energy is coming through right away. So this pet feels like they were quite mischievous at times, a bit of a troublemaker, maybe just when they were young, or maybe throughout their whole life. It feels like they sometimes made things harder than they needed to be. And they could be frustrating, but also hilarious at times. It's reminding me of energy of like a kid that won't get in the bath and they're just like running away and you're like, where are you? Get in the bath. But it also is sort of coming through as like, this was part of their way of trying to get you to loosen up sometimes, or to be in the present moment, which may sound untrue to you because it's like, well, you didn't need to cause trouble. You just made everything harder for me. It's like something like that where they're like, yeah, but it snapped you out of thinking about something else, didn't it? It's that kind of thing. And even though there's a mischievous spirit coming through, they weren't like that all the time. There's this very sweet, loving energy coming through too, where they could be very affectionate and very calm and get along with others. And they really liked to give and receive love. But I think that this animal could be very dramatic at times and like really was constantly either vying for attention, or it was like they would get stuck. Like if this was a cat, for example, and they like would get stuck in the ceiling and you're like, how did you even get in there? Or they'd get stuck in like a box spring with a hole in it that they crawled into or something. It was like, you know, they'd get themselves into these positions with their curiosity and you'd have to save them. But then they'd like, love you. Like, thank you for saving me. And I think that because, you know, sometimes with the Eight of Swords, we can get this very like anxious, prison energy, but it feels to me more like they're kind of silly and they get themselves into these weird positions where they get stuck. It is possible that this is coming through because this was a rescue and that they were, you know, in a cage for a long time, or they were trapped in some way and you came and rescued them and gave them a loving home. But it definitely seems like they've got some mischief, whether it was intentional or not. I think sometimes it was and sometimes it wasn't, because this is just who they are. This is definitely a very curious pet, but they definitely, you know, a lot of times we talk about pets and like the human being attached to them is like their quote unquote parent, but it really feels like this. Like in the last group, the pet felt like they were the parent, but like this pet is like, you're my parent, you're my mommy, you're my daddy, you're my parent. Like, you know, you take care of me and I need you to take care of me. And I appreciate this role that you play in my life. And I like being the baby. So when we look at how they're doing now on the other side and what they might want to say about that, we have the Two of Sea or the Two of Cups and the Two of Earth or the Two of Pentacles. It's funny that we got 2 twos, you know? So they're doing just fine. And the thing that is coming to mind is that they reunited with someone on the other side. So for some of you, this is going to be another pet that you had. Either these pets were siblings, like literally siblings, or they spent time together with you and they are reuniting on the other side. It could be a human being as well, like another person that was in their life, or it could even, it's coming through as it could be someone that you had pass on that didn't even ever know this pet, but the pet perceived this person's spirit while they were alive. And so they got to know them in that way, but they basically reunited with someone, whether it was another animal or a human being. And they're like buddy on the other side. They're like BFFs, best friends. They're hanging out. And both of these souls that are coming through have a great deal of love for you. And, yeah, so it absolutely has to be someone you knew, another pet or another person, because both of them are coming through as watching over you, protecting you and loving you. And they have a strong relationship to one another. And they may, you know, look at these dogs in these pictures. Like these, again, could be animal and human, or it could be two animals that were different kinds of animals or looked very different. But of course, they could also have come from the same family, like they were two brothers that you adopted or something like that. So basically what they want to say is how they are now, they're fine. They're totally fine. They feel great. They are at peace. They are living in paradise. They are having fun with their loved ones. They've reconnected, and it may be with more than one soul. And so they want you to know that they're not alone. They are not lonely. They are not sad. If anything, they have some concern over you because of your loss of them, but they're really just fine. And they're just living it up and having a good time. And like the fun thing for them about passing on is the reconnection, is the spending time again with the loved ones that they couldn't be with physically. And so it's just like bonding time for them. It's fun. They're exploring and laughing and like catching each other up on things that they missed. And like, I know it sounds weird to say laughing and catching each other up for a pet, but that's like the energy of it, you know? So you don't have to worry about them if you were. if you were worried about them being apart from you, they're fine. On the other side, you're not apart from anybody. But also, besides that fact, they are rejoicing in their connections over there, and they are still spending time with you, but they know that there is a bit of a disconnect there for you. So it's obviously not the same, but while they had an enjoyable life, and I think they have like almost a nostalgic feeling around it, they don't miss it because they don't need to miss it. They feel fulfilled and they feel love and they know everything's fine and nothing matters basically. So there's no pain for them. And if there was pain for them in life, that's gone completely. The energy is completely light, completely easy, and at peace. So let's look at here what your pet is grateful for from you specifically. And we have this Earth Guardian and the Four of Fire. So this is the Four of Wands and this is the Knight of Pentacles. And so just looking at what else we have in case we have anything, any duplicates like we did in the last group. But so again, very sweet energy here when it comes to their gratitude. They see you as family, and of course you were, but they see you as soul family. So I think that it's possible you've had lives together. It's possible that they've even incarnated several times in one life with you. As you're living a human life, they could live several pet lives. But they're very grateful for you for the sense of home and belonging that you created for them. And you know, I'm not surprised to see that come through from a pet, but it's coming through very strongly. It's like you created home. I felt because, okay, how this is sort of coming through as well is the other side, when we die, when we pass on, that's home. And that's where we're like, oh yeah, this is where I come from. This is where I belong. It was just a journey to live a life and it was part of my experience, but this is home. But they're saying you created that same feeling of home for them as a pet in life. So you gave them unconditional love and support. You gave them things that they wanted and needed. You gave them playtime and connections and time in nature or time looking out windows or, you know, that kind of thing. But it seems like you are a very loving person and that you extended that love in a really unconditional way toward your pet. And we could say it's easier to love a pet unconditionally, but some people don't. You know, some people are not very kind to their pets. And you're coming through as really kind, compassionate, loving, and not seeing them as any less than you just because they are an animal or a pet, but understanding that you are different, but you are family. And there's so much loyalty and sweetness here. And they felt like they could really relax in life with you because they knew that they would be safe and loved and protected no matter what. And that, you know, brings this protection here again for me. But it felt like you didn't rush them. Like you weren't like, if this was a dog, you weren't like, okay, let's go on a walk. Let's hurry up around let's get it. Like, it was like, you let them smell things and you let them say hi to people and you let them grab a stick and carry it around. You know, I'm not saying you had a dog, but that's just the analogy that's coming forward is like not rushing them around every corner and forcing them to like live in accordance with your schedule. Like, of course, to a certain degree, I'm sure you did, but it feels like there was a slowness, a peacefulness, and allowing them to explore and relax and be. And, you know, in pet readings, a lot of times there is just such a strong feeling of love. And that is what's coming through with this animal of just being completely in love with you, just being really, really grateful for everything that you gave them. And again, I feel like they do spend a lot of time with you still, and there's a lot of physical energy. And so I do wonder if you sense their presence around you at times. It's like they're saying they could be themselves, you know, which is, it's always so funny to me what messages come through pets because you don't expect them to say these things, I guess, or I don't. But yeah, they were allowed to live an authentic life as themselves. And again, like this sort of mischievous, like kind of troublemaker energy or like getting into trouble without meaning to. It was like, you might have been frustrated or rolled your eyes, but like it also kind of made you laugh. And I think you really appreciated this this pet's personality and the way that they were, because it was funny and because it is easy for you to love. And so they are just really, again, grateful to have lived a life where they were respected, appreciated, and loved for who they were, and that they weren't like every other pet, and that that was appreciated rather than it being something that they had to be constantly punished for. Because I don't feel like there's a lot of punishment energy here. Like even if they did something to get in trouble, you didn't harm them because of it. You just tried to prevent it maybe from happening again. Like if they got into a box spring, you like sewed up the hole or something so they couldn't get back in. But there's a lot of appreciation for the way that you let them be. But in addition to that emotional safety, we see in the Four of Wands this shelter here, and we often see a home in this card, and this card can be about home or a house. And so they also felt very physically safe. They felt sheltered and protected from danger, and and like just happy to... It's like it incited a happiness in them and a joy in them, because feeling safe, especially if they did come from a background of not feeling safe previously or feeling in danger, it's like the danger is completely gone. They knew certainly that they were safe with you, and they were very grateful for that. So let's look at how they might still connect with you on the other side. And here we might find signs or symbols that they throw your way, or how they come through and what they help you with now that they are on the other side. And we have the Two of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. So I wonder, on the one hand, if you sometimes feel their presence around water, or if you feel more peaceful around water. But with the Five of Cups, we are having grief here. So it is possible that this is coming through because you are really grieving the passing of this pet of yours, and they are being there. They're present with you to comfort you and let you know it's okay, and to try to remind you that everything is okay, and to try to bring a grounded energy and a harmonious energy into your energy field. But even if you are okay with this passing, if it happened long ago, if you are past the grief stage, even if it was more recent, it does feel like they really show up when you are feeling emotional, when you are not at your best, when life isn't treating you the best, when you are having heartbreak in relationships or other areas of life, whenever anything feels unbalanced or turbulent or chaotic or sad. Basically, whenever that stuff is happening for you, this pet is by your side. They are right there with you, trying to lighten your energy and remind you that they are there, and that everything's okay, and that you're not alone, and that everything will be okay, basically. Basically, they just want you to feel their love. And so I see them right there by your side. And it feels like you don't necessarily feel or sense them all the time, especially if you are feeling more emotional, but they're right there with you. And so I think even when they don't spend all their time around you because they're doing things on the other side, I mean, they're catching up with like their other buddies, but when they sense your energy is emotional, that's when they're like, oh, okay, I need to abandon what I was doing and go spend time with group 3. So that's what it feels like. And they really try to bring a balanced energy into your energy field and help you to remember the light when things feel dark, and remember how to feel balanced and harmonious in life. But another way that they likely come through for some of you with signs is with coins. So pennies or other coins, or even money. Like if you constantly keep seeing quarters on the street, or you keep finding pennies on your floor and you're like, I don't even know where this change came from. Something like that. They could be coming through with coins or with money. Like it could even be where you get like a dollar bill and someone wrote something on it, and that's sort of a message coming through from your pet, that kind of thing. They do try to come through physical signs. So not just you hearing like, their name. I mean, you might, but it seems like they really try to come through physical signs with objects and things, so that You can sense their presence, or if you have lost others and it's not just this pet, you've lost many pets or you've lost other people. It feels like in general, one of the signs that comes through for you is coins or physical objects. And basically, whoever is in spirit for you, whether it's just this pet or others, because I do think for a lot of you, there's other energies coming forward now. And again, I think it's these two energies that we talked about, but there's more. And basically, they're constantly sending you love. They're constantly trying to send you gifts and blessings and things that will lighten you up when you're feeling heavy or dark, and to remind you of the joys in life when you feel any kind of like misery or sadness or anything like that. I mean, with the Five of Cups, we always see this figure with these 3 spilled cups, and then we have 2 right here, but this figure isn't paying attention to them. And so I think this is really calling my attention in this card this time, because whoever is there in spirit for you really wants you to remember what's good in your life and what's positive. And I don't get overall negative energy from you, but I do think there are moments where you feel quite heavy, and that maybe recently you have. Either you're going through something, or you are going through a loss, whether it's this pet or someone else, or sometimes things just are very, very stressful and it gets you feeling down, or as you process old trauma, anything. Basically, they're here to say, like, it's okay for you to feel like that, and we're here loving you. But guess what? There's good here, and we want to try to remind you of that. So there's a lot of that energy coming through. Yeah, I do think for some of you, there's been a lot of loss, whether that has been loved ones that passed on or relationships that have ended. There's definitely grief in your energy and in this card, of course. But they're sending you a lot of love around that. And I feel like when you feel very alone, you're actually less alone than you ever are, because I see all of these spirits and angels and guides and your past on loved ones literally surrounding your energy and like sort of forming this tight knit. It's like they're forming like an energetic sweater, and they're like tightening the weave until it's like all around you. It's like a protective, happy barrier that not only protects you, but comforts you, because it's coming through as like a comfy sweater. So they're really here to comfort you and protect you, and that you're really not alone. And, you know, we have this protection card from the beginning. So I think that you actually have a whole lot of protection around you, even when you don't feel like it's there and you feel all alone. They're always there. And, I think that not only this pet, but there have been other loved ones, other pets as well, or people that have felt like you were their best friend, or you were their biggest supporter or their biggest protector. And so they're, part of it is their love for you, and part of it is them wanting to return the favor and be there for you when you need it. So let's look at what else they may want you to know. We have the sea turtle, conservation, make conscious choices, and we have this intuition card, which is interesting because in the last group, we also had an intuition card. So, and I kind of feel like her eyes look a little bit sad and watery in this card. So I think, again, that there are some people in this group dealing with grief or loss or hard things, and it has felt like too much lately, and that maybe it's even not that like you have a ton of loss, but that it's been really hard to make choices or to move forward and everything's going too slow for you, that kind of thing. Or where you feel like you don't have clarity, or you feel apart from the world, like here's the world and here's you. There's this alienation, isolation, sadness coming forward for this group. And I think that this passed on pet just really wants to remind you that you're actually not alone. Like you feel separate from the world, but you're all in this same picture, you know? And like, just because the sea turtle moves slow doesn't mean that slow is wrong. Slow is sometimes exactly right. And that it's okay that some things are moving slow. It's okay that some things feel hard right now. And also, this is a reminder to tune into your intuitive impulses and insights and wisdom and to the spiritual realm in order to make choices to move forward, in order to feel less alone and more protected and more secure and more happy. it does feel like if you have been struggling recently, this isn't going to last forever, but you are in the thick of it right now, you might even be in the final stages, but it can come back really strong at times. Basically they're telling you, just keep moving slowly forward. Don't try to rush the process. Don't try to dry your tears. I mean, you can, but like, it's basically like coming through as like, don't try to stop crying if you're crying. Don't try to stop feeling the way that you feel. It's okay that you feel the way that you feel. You are making progress. Allow it to be a little bit slow right now. And as you make choices and move forward, use your intuition to the degree that you can. But you are incredibly protected. There is so much spiritual energy around you protecting you. It's so interesting because on the one hand, I have this strong energy of you being very grounded and nurturing and loving and happy and like giving that energy to others. And then there's this very like grief feeling coming through. So I don't know if you are both of these things or we have two different groups here, or if people perceive you as very grounded, but you feel internally more chaotic. But I feel like you come across as a very patient and responsible person, and yet you're not having patience with yourself right now or something. And so they're trying to tell you to have more calm and more patience with yourself as you navigate life. And especially in this phase of feeling the way that you do, whether it is alone, whether it is stressed out, whether it is sad, because it is not going to last forever, actually. And you are fine. And if you're I think some people here are having maybe health problems or something, and that's what's upsetting you. It seems like you're in the thick of something. But that doesn't mean it's not going to end. And all you need to do is just keep moving slowly forward and trust your intuition. So that's basically what they're wanting to leave with you. Their love for you, their gratitude for you, their okayness, and that you're also going to be okay too, but to trust your intuition, whether or not you're going through hard things, but as you make choices. So that's all I have for you today, Group 3. I really hope this was helpful. If it was, please let me know by leaving a comment or liking the video. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I'll see you again soon. Bye.